Welcome to online class 14 June 2020. Subject English first paper class 9 and 10 presented by me Farhana Sohili, Assistant Teacher English, Collectorate School and College, Rangpur. Dear student, you are housebound from March 18 because of pandemic COVID-19. As a result, all the educational institutions have been closed down for a long time. Unlike in many developed countries, most children in Bangladesh don't have access to the internet. That's why the initial education response focused on delivering classes on TV, as television sets are more available in households. Following UNICEF, as well as our Honorable Prime Minister, our respected Principal Monjura Parveen has planned for continuity of learning in the case of absenteeism. She also guided us to use of online strategies and assigning reading and exercises for home study support for maintaining continuous access to quality education. We the teachers are getting interested in the virtual platform to run our academic activities. That's why Collectorate School and College Rangpur launched online education to continue academic activities and are trying to cover up the academic losses through uploading videos of lessons online. In this continuation, I am going to take class on English first paper for class 9 and 10. In my today's class, you will learn how to write the answer to the question based on graph or chart. But before we begin, let's quickly remember what we learned in our previous class related to graph and chart. Let's enjoy the lesson. What is a graph? A graph can be defined as a pictorial representation or a diagram that represents data or values in an organized manner showing the relationship between two or more things. What is a chart? A chart is a graphical representation of data which is represented by symbols such as bar, line or slice that organizes and represents a set of numerical or qualitative data. The main difference between graph and chart. Graph is a plan, drawing, sketch or outline to show the relationship between sets of data. Chart is a graphical representation of data which shows the information. In other words, charts are a large group of methods for presenting information, but graphs provide one of those methods by presenting data in a visual format. Dear students, for your basic ideas, I have also mentioned here the types of graph or chart and their definitions. I like to remind you that you don't think over it more critically. In your syllabus, this question item has been included to improve your writing skill. So take it easy. There are different types of graphs or charts. They are table, pyramid, pie chart, histogram, bar diagram, line chart, bar diagram. A bar chart is a chart that presents categorical data with rectangular bars with heights or lengths proportional to the values that they represent. The bar chart can be plotted vertically or horizontally. A vertical bar chart is sometimes called a column chart. Pie chart. A pie chart is a circular statistical graphic which is divided into slices To illustrate numerical proportion, in a pie chart, the arc length of each slice and consequently its central angle and area is proportional to the quantity it represents. Line chart. A line chart is a type of chart which displays information as series of data called markers connected by straight line segments. Histogram diagram. A histogram represents the frequency distribution of continuous variables. The histogram is drawn in such a way that there is no gap between the bars. There are three types of graphs used to display time series data. A. Horizontal bar graphs, B. Vertical bar graphs, and C. Line graphs. A graph has three parts to report or analyze. A. Topic sentence, B. Supporting sentence, C. Concluding sentence. A graph and chart has basically four kinds of trends: upward trend, downward trend, stability, and fluctuation. To describe the speed of a change of the line or graph, you have to use appropriate nouns, verbs, adjectives, and adverbs depending on the kind of action need to show. For this, you should use the following vocabularies. Nouns. As noun, you can use these words: a rise, an increase, a growth, a development, a decrease, a fall, a drop, a reduction, a descent, a plunge, a stability, a steady state, a same level, an unchanged state, a constant state, a fluctuation, a variation, an ups and downs, an alternation. As a verb, you can use these words: rise, increase, grow, go up to, climb, boom, peak, fall, decline, decrease, drop, go down, reduce, level up, remain stable, remain steady, stay constant, maintain the same level, crash, collapse, plunge. As adjectives, you can use these words: sharp, rapid, huge, dramatic, abrupt, substantial, considerable, significant, slight, slow, swift, quick, moderate, steady, gradual, minimal, massive. You can use these words as adverbs: dramatically, abruptly, frequently, swiftly, quickly, rapidly, hugely, sharply, considerably, substantially, significantly, slightly, minimally, moderately, steadily, slowly, gradually. Dear students, you are asked to memorize all these vocabs so that you can use them when you describe a graph or chart in English. Here in this slide, I have given a model question for you based on graph or chart. Let's look into the question and the graph. Read the question carefully and try to understand it. It is also mentioned here, to describe a graph, you need to use some connectors. The connectors can be the graph shows or the graph illustrates, according to the chart, but, however, again or also, thus or overall, etc. Dear students, when you start describing a graph in your answer script, you have to give importance on the central theme. Then you have to write the basic information which you have gathered from the graph. Gathered information should be described somewhat in detail. To focus on the negative side or opposite side of the graph, you can use the connector but. To focus on the positive side of the graph, you can use the connector however. If it is needed to add something new, you can use connector again or also. At last, highlighted points of the graph have to be written. You can use connector thus or overall to highlight the graph. You should keep in mind the correct use of tenses when describing a graph or chart. If the graph or chart deals with facts in the present, use the simple present tense. If the facts are the past, then use the simple past tense. If there is a connection between the past and the present, use the present perfect tense. Let's move to the next slide. Here I given a solution of that question to understand it better. Being able to understand and describe graphic information is an important skill. You need to show that you can interpret this type of factual information clearly and accurately. Dear students, to make the answer more clear to you, I have used three colors to describe the graph. Dark red color has been used to focus on the topic sentence of the graph. Dark blue color has been used to focus on the supporting sentences of the graph. And blue color has been used to focus on the concluding sentence. But in your answer script, you don't need to use these colors. Let's read out the answer. The graph shows the number of internet users of Bangladesh. According to the graph or diagram, the lowest percent was in the year of 2012 and it was 50%. The highest users were in the year of 2017 and it was 80%. The graph shows that the internet users fluctuated around 50% to 80% from the year 2012 to 2017. In 2012, the users were 50% and in 2013, the users were 60%. During this period, the users varied from 10%, but in the next year 2014, the users dropped to 55% and it decreased 5% from 2013 to 2014. However, in 2015 and 2016, the percent did not change and it was 70%. Again, we noticed that in the year 2017, the users were recorded 80%. That was the highest percent of the graph. Thus, analyzing the above data, it can be said that during this period, the digital infrastructure of the country improved significantly and the people of Bangladesh are getting accustomed to the modern technologies. Dear students, hope that now the discussion on graph and chart is clear to you. It is time for homework. Here is one more question for you based on graph and chart. Try to write down the answer following the given information. You have to describe the graph or chart within 150 words. Given information should be summarized and highlighted. It is not necessary to illustrate answer unnecessarily. If you describe the graph using 140 or 145 words, then it will be a best writing. That's all for today's lesson. I wish you all stay at home and stay safe. Thank you all.